Hey y'all, this is Brita Long for The Happier Attorney, where we talk about creating a practice that works for you and works for your life, where we talk about flat fees and mindset and money and fixing your stuff so you can have a happier life. And this month we are doing a whole series on attorney suicide and other self-destructive behaviors that I'm throwing into crisis mode. This is an incredibly important series, so I am asking you to share, so that other attorneys can see this, because you don't know who you're going to help. You don't know who's struggling and who's not. So this is week 2. If you haven't watched week 1, I'm going to ask that you go back and watch it so that you kind of see where we are in the series. So this week, we are going to be talking about triage, essentially. If you are in crisis mode where you are thinking about suicide at all, where you are just zoning out, where you are starting to drop balls, where you know you're overloaded. You know, I need a break now. This is not sustainable. What I'm doing is not sustainable. This is the steps. Again, I'm not a mental health counselor, but this is what I have used in my life and what I've seen work in other people's lives. And I am here to, sometimes as attorneys, we need permission in our heads. So I'm here to give you this permission. And let's be really clear and not lie to ourselves. So let's try and stop the bleeding. All right, let's just do a timeout and put in a notice of medical unavailability. Clear the decks. I know this is going to hurt. I know you don't want to do it. This is your life we're talking about. So you can even put it in for a month, 2 months, whatever. And guess what? It's nobody's business why you're taking medical leave. And my anecdotal evidence from people is that judges give that time. And then and I would say minimum of 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, this is not something that, I take a couple days off and I'm okay. That's not how this is going to work. Okay, so it's going to take a couple days, right? Unless you just go into the hospital, which is fine. You don't have to be specific. Stop taking new clients. Send a mass email. Sorry, there's a medical emergency. I'm out. Okay? And if you have the bandwidth to postpone things, great. If you don't, call a colleague. I'm in crisis mode. I need help. Call the Bar Assistance Program. I'm in crisis. I need help. Someone will help you come in and clear the decks and take care of your clients, postpone whatever needs to be postponed, whatever. And are you going to take a financial hit? Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah. It's better than the alternative, right? And it's not going to get any better. So do it now. Okay? You're never going to have time to do this. There's never going to be this magical break in your schedule of, 4 weeks to go deal with your mental health. That's not how it works. You've got to take it. So be okay with that this is going to hurt financially. It might hurt a lot. It might even close your practice. And you got to be okay with that. And I can feel it right now, people freaking out. Your mental health has to be first and foremost. And by the way, it's pretty easy to build up a practice again. Get some real help. You are not a doctor. Do not self-diagnose. Go get some real help now. Get into some serious counseling. And it might take a bit to find a really good mental health counselor. I've worked with so many mental health counselors over the years, and maybe 10% are amazing. The rest, And then there's, at the bottom, a good 20-25% who do actual harm. So it might take a while to get someone in the top 10% who knows what they're doing and who really moves the needle. Keep going. So if you get to somebody and you're like, keep going, okay? If you are suicidal, walk into a hospital. I'm not kidding. Buy yourself even 3 days to then get your other things going. So seriously, walk into a hospital, tell them you're suicidal. They know what to do. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Your life will not fall apart. Ramifications of doing that, A, are not going to be as bad as you think, and B, you can figure those out. When you get clear in your head, picking up the pieces is not actually going to be that big of a deal. I promise. I promise. Okay? I've had my life fall apart more than once. I've had to pick it up from the ground floor more than once. And it doesn't take as much as you think it's going to take. I promise. Okay? But you need time. You need to cocoon. You need to heal. This is not something that you can do on the weekends. You need to heal. And that is significant time away. Okay? Again, I'm not talking about, a weekend. I would say the minimum you need to take off is at least 2 weeks, and then not go back to, 40, 50, 60 hours a week of work. Okay? Not going back to the same thing. We can't heal in the same place that made us sick. We can't heal going back to this old life. You kind of have to say goodbye to that old life and make some real changes. I think you will be very surprised when you give yourself that time to cocoon, how fast you are able to recover. But you might be in shock. There are a lot of attorneys, a lot of us who have had trauma, which is something we don't talk about, right? And when that comes to a head, which it always does, we can be in shock. It can take a long time for us to even begin to start the healing process. So give yourself that time. And this time has to be for you. So again, this can't be, okay, I'll take a week off, but I'm going to stay at home and, I'll do stuff around the house, or, I'll take care of the kids or whatever. Nice try. This time has to be about you. You probably have to be alone, except for, mental health counseling, for you to really heal. All of your focus, all of your attention has to be on you. And don't be surprised if you sleep a lot. When we are healing, we sleep a lot, and that's internal healing as well. And seriously, you could need sleep for a month, and that's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to think of taking that much time for ourselves. Again, what road do you want to be on? There's only one ending to this road that you are on, and it's a pretty bad ending. You can't have it both ways. I know we as attorneys, we try and have it both ways, especially the further on you get down that road. You can't. You have to make major changes, and you have to heal and cocoon. So let's stop the bleeding. That's your first step. Stop the bleeding. Do not feel badly about taking time off. There are plenty of other attorneys who have filed for medical absence leave. They do just fine coming back. They do just fine coming back. It's really going to be okay. I know you're hesitant. I know you don't want to do it. I'm giving you not only permission, instruction. Do it. Give yourself some time. Give your brain that bandwidth. And your clients, any client who you want to have is going to be okay with you taking some time off. And again, in an emergency, get some help. Get a friend, get the Bar Association in to help out. But you're not doing anyone any favors by keeping going. You're really not. So again, if you got any value out of this, or you think other attorneys could benefit from hearing some of this, please subscribe so that other attorneys can see this and it's available to them. And share this. You don't know who is out there and who is struggling. So that is it for this week's video. Next week's video, we're going to be talking about what happens after the triage, picking up the pieces. It's really possible. So stay tuned till next week, and thank you so much for listening.